Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. I teach everything life improvement via manifestation. I do subliminals and the occasional tarot reading. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure that you subscribe and let's get right into the video. So today I want to talk about tarot. Now, I've done a tarot video before, but it's been like older and I just want to update it a little bit. This might sound really contradictory, but my advice to you would be stop watching tarot readings, which again, I know it's weird because I do tarot readings. I even offer services for that. Not currently, but I will be again in the future. But I noticed recently that there's been an influx again of new tarot readers blowing up. People are being obsessed with it, like addicted to it almost. I sometimes go through readings to just kind of see what they're saying, go through the comment section, see what people are suffering from. But I noticed that a lot of people are now looking at twin flame union again. I've even seen a comment section where one person was like, well, I'm watching a tarot reading from someone I got divorced like 25 years ago. I don't want them to come back. And I was like, why are you watching a video about somebody you've been separated from for 25 years? Like that's bad, okay? That's bad for your mental health. That's bad for your manifestation. That's bad for you, period. Like, don't do that. But a lot of people really truly still think that tarot readings are designed to predict your future. They can't predict your future. Nothing can predict your future. Absolutely nothing except for you. You're the operant power at all times. And if you want to watch a tarot reading or you want to get a tarot reading, and I've had people in my life call me daily being like, can you read for me today? And I'm like, no, I coached you for hours, like literally several weeks, every day in a row. And now you want a tarot reading to see if what you need to affirm for, even though I've given it to you and you just haven't done the work. Or they wanted confirmation for negative affirmations that they set themselves. That's not what tarot is supposed to be for. The only reason why you should ever watch a tarot reading, and you also need to be in the correct mindset for that, is if you've been affirming and you've been doing your work for a while and you just want a fast, quick check-in to see how much your subconscious has been imprinted through the work and the repetition. And I will never forget this. I saw a comment from this girl who said, I've been manifesting my SP and I've been manifesting them to contact me. And then every time I would start affirming, and then right after affirming, I would go and watch tarot readings. I would go and pull tarot cards myself. I would go and watch more manifestation videos. And the minute she stopped, her person came in. And the crazy thing about it is she actually asked her specific person about it. And they said, every time I wanted to reach out to you, something came up and it wasn't in my control at all. Or I wanted to reach out and I felt like I shouldn't and I couldn't even explain to myself why. That was the moment she started looking for outside validation, is when her SP then came into a situation where they couldn't reach out. Because she didn't trust in the fact that her affirming was enough. When you affirming is enough, it is always enough. Very, very rarely should you actually use tarot or manifestation videos, if you know how it's done, in order to look at, well, what's going on in my current reality. It should be confirmation if you need it, or it should be a booster if you need it, okay? If you're at a low place. But never ever should it be a guide for you to look at and say, okay, well, where am I going? What is this doing? What is my person up to? And, are they with a third party? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? How are they feeling about me? Don't do any of that. You want to know how they feel about you? You decide how they feel about you. You want to know if they have a third party? You decide whether they have a third party. And the crazy thing is, you've been doing this subconsciously your whole entire life. Your entire freaking life. You never thought twice about, you being responsible for it in a way, or your brain calling the shots. You just did it because that's how we were taught we are living. People fall in love with us based on the assumptions that we held prior to that. And a lot of people who come into the law of assumption come from a past toxic standpoint, because we assumed that we would only attract toxicity, that we would only attract bad things. That's why self-concept is so important. You can manifest back whoever you want, but if you don't fix your internal assumptions about yourself, your relationship with your specific person will go haywire. I promise you. It has to, because your old programming will take hold of that again, unfortunately. And the more you're watching, tarot readings, for example, the focus is always on them. It's always on them. So you're always putting it back onto them. You're not putting it back on yourself. And on top of that, you're telling your subconscious, I am so insecure when it comes to my manifestation powers, when it comes to my self-concept, when it comes to myself, that I have to seek outside validation that this person still wants me, and I'm not in control of that. I can't control whether they contact me, so I need to have some tarot reader, who by the way is just you pushed out, they're just telling you what you want to hear, tell me that they still think about me, when you should know that they're still thinking about you if you are affirming correctly. So I'm someone, for example, who does not like to affirm for SPs at all. I'm gonna make a video about manifesting an SP out of thin air, which is a little bit different, but if I see something going haywire in a connection that I'm in, I know that at the end of the day, it's still always my self-concept, and I try to intercept, because nobody's perfect, right? We all have our triggers, and sometimes things come up. I got recently triggered not too long ago over something that I haven't been triggered over in a year, in an entire freaking year, and I was like, this is crazy. So, but I know that it starts and ends with me. And with that particular person, for example, the negative story that I held as a result of that, I was just like, I'm gonna discard and move on, because I just was over it. And it's good to try and intercept that before you even have to have affirm or change or revise a negative story, because that's just extra work. Always do your self-concept work first. And if they come back and then display negative behavior, you can still fix it and affirm it, but you are the operant power always. I always say this, there's a big chance you might not want them anymore anyway, which was also in my case. It literally was the situation where I was like, I don't, just whatever, I don't care. But you have to understand that you watching tarot is you reacting. That is a reaction that you're giving in the 3D. It's an action that you're taking that is unnecessary and that's holding you back from bringing in what you want. It is a reaction to the anxiety that you're having that makes you unsure of how your person is acting. So your person is ghosting you, for example, and you're watching tarot. That is a reaction to their ghosting. That's like you sending them a text message over and over and over and over again, which again, if you don't care about the outcome and you want to revise and do all of that, you can. But if you actually care, you should take a step back and work on your self-concept and see, what am I doing wrong? Why do I have so little faith in my own ability that I need to seek outside validation from a stranger? That's also what I sometimes struggle with when I do tarot readings, because I do try to explain that and I do try to make it really, really known that this is the situation and that you shouldn't get a reading out of desperation or out of anxiety, but that you should get a reading out of, how am I supposed to put this? So let's say, for example, you're really good at math and you just solved like a massive math equation, right? And you know it's like the correct answer. You studied for this, you did everything you could. But then there's this tiny voice that's like, but I have the ability to double check just in case to make sure I get that A+ I deserve. Even though I know it's correct, let me just double check to see, just to kind of calm my mind. That is what tarot should be. Tarot should not be you sitting in front of the equation, not even having done the first step of it, or having done everything incorrectly because you just wanted to do something out of panic, and then looking up the answer and writing down the answer and giving it, knowing full well that the teacher's going to realize that you probably didn't do it, right? Because they know you well enough to know that this must be a fluke. So please keep that in mind next time you feel like you have to watch a tarot reading. They can be so dangerous. They can be so addictive. I understand this. I was in this place like years ago, especially in the law of attraction community. And one of the things that I also highly dislike about most tarot readers, especially on YouTube, and on TikTok a little bit, like the TikTok ones are more about clickbait. By the way, you don't have to claim, you don't have to like, you don't have to share, you don't have to follow them in order for the reading to come true. That's just them taking massive advantage of you. And in the YouTube community, I do see people like that as well, where they're like, you know, oh, you should give me money or whatever. Like as in, oh, if you donate, the reading will be better. That's just crap. If you want to donate, do it, but it has nothing to do with the reading. Or a lot of them will actually follow law of attraction advice, which I am going to make an updated video about that as well. And also about TikTok myths, because there's a lot of like craziness out there. They will basically give you a lot of law of attraction advice. They will give you a time frame. That's like my biggest pet peeve. They will give you a time frame and say, oh, your person might come back in 6 months or so. First of all, tarot can't tell you that. You cannot get a time frame from the cards that you have. There's some people who say, yes, you can, and this is like this, and this is this season's whatever. I've been reading tarot for like 15 plus years. Very, very rarely did I get a time download. Very rarely. I think it happened like 3 times in 15 plus years. So technically, they can't give you a time frame, right? Especially if they're saying, oh, you need to manifest and you need to follow the law of attraction. They believe in divine timing. How would they know what the time frame is if they say you have to listen to divine timing? That literally makes no freaking sense, okay? And then they tell you that you have to, you know, let it go. and you have to listen to the reading, and you have to do your healing, and they have to do their healing, and you have to let them do their healing, which again, they're you pushed out. So if your person has to do healing, A, that's an assumption you hold about them, and B, that's an assumption you hold about yourself. The divine connection, blah, blah, blah. You need to be in separation. Like all of that is BS. All of that is nonsense. You control your life, and you should not let a tarot reading control you, ever, 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 please. So keep that in mind. And any tarot reader who reads to you from a law of attraction standpoint and says that this is the way things are, this is a prediction, this is what you need to do, you need to leave your person alone, and this, that, and the other, and you need to just ignore them, and you need to heal for the next 6 months, and then maybe they'll come in and reach out to you, they are doing you a massive disservice, because what they're actually doing is they're taking limiting beliefs and limiting assumptions that they hold about themselves and putting them onto you. And then, because they're you pushed out, it's a back and forth. It's a ping pong game. They're reflecting your negativity that you hold inside of yourself for whatever reason, by the way. It doesn't matter. We all have it, okay? They're reflecting that back to you. They're confirming your fears, putting their own fears into it, and then you have this game of who has more limiting beliefs playing back and forth, bouncing off of each other. Because fun fact, want to know why you get addicted to tarot? Because when you watch one reading, it soothes you while you're watching it, but the minute you stop watching it, you get more anxiety, so you have to watch another one to get another answer. Why? Again, because they're feeding extra limiting beliefs onto you that you didn't even have before. So you're going down this spiral, right? Which is what we always warn about. If you spiral, just calm down. Even if you're like stream of tears, ugly crying, you still need to affirm through that. So you're getting stuck in this spiral of their fears, your fears, and in order to alleviate that, you go to a next reader and then you watch them and they have more fears that they give to you, and then you're stuck in this addictive loop of trying to soothe your anxiety, which you try to soothe by someone else giving you more anxiety. I really hope that made sense, but it took me a long time to realize that. It was just this whirlwind of anxiety and stress, and I still suffer from leftover anxiety to this day. And this is something that you won't even realize until you come out of it years down the road. So if you are in this spiral right now, my best advice to you is, this is advice that I would have needed back in the day. If you are in this spiral, start affirming that you don't rely on tarot, you don't need tarot, you're not watching tarot obsessively, or you're not watching tarot at all. And then start affirming that you're in full control, you have no anxiety, you don't need to, and your person is conforming to you right this very minute. They're conforming to you right now. Every time you affirm, they're conforming, they're coming in, and they're doing whatever you want them to do. Because this will prevent you from having to struggle with this down the line once you are breaking out of the cycle. So you will never ever find peace and happiness or the comfort of just affirming and having it come in. And this is why when people say, oh, I've been watching the same reading for a year and every reader tells me he comes back and he doesn't. Yeah, no shit, because you keep pushing your affirmations away that you are doing. You're negating what you're affirming. You're pushing your manifestation away, and you're keeping yourself in this constant loop of, he's literally about to come in, but then you push him away again because you're watching a tarot reading. That's why they're not coming in. And people who know this and who see comments like this and are aware of this and are not addressing it are taking advantage of you. I would say there are some readers who just don't know better. Even if they don't know better, right? Even if they come from the law of attraction, they should tell you at this point, like, hey, you need to get off the internet. You need to stop watching the 3D reality. You need to keep a clean mental diet, and you need to get out there and live your life instead of sitting at home obsessively watching tarot. Tarot readings are a great tool. They're an amazing technique. They're an amazing tool. I personally have a deck, for example, that I haven't used in a while, where I used limiting beliefs to like figure out affirmations. It can be an amazing tool. But just like with everything, you need to be really, really careful about your mindset surrounding it and the way you are using this tool. Okay? Because there's a fine line between using it and abusing it. So anyway, I hope this made sense. I hope you liked this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me to kind of decipher what kind of videos you guys like. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one.